Duel of the Fans. We're doing a live post episode 6 Acolyte recap right now. We are green. We are good to go. My co-host Colin has stepped out for a moment, so I will keep you entertained while he prepares himself. So for those of you joining us, thank you for watching and being a part of this. So he's the technical guy, so he's going to get everything set up. We're going to be asking some questions. We want to know your thoughts on tonight's episode. I think the big thing that Colin and I were talking during the episode, I really don't understand the hate that this show is getting. Whether you love it or hate it, I don't think the level of hate is really warranted. We're actually having quite a bit of fun week to week. I think Colin and I kind of discussed that this episode may be the slower one. We were really excited from last week and all the action. We'll get his opinion on this, but I think we both quite enjoyed it there. But yeah, it just seems like getting online into groups and forums and just reading some of these reviews, it seems like the fans are really not a fan of this. So I don't know, it's interesting. So again, Colin's going to get all the technical stuff set up for me here. I just watch the show. That's the extent of what I do. But yeah, so I don't know. We want to get everyone's thought on this, and we're going to read some reviews from, I guess, some of the darker places. But I thought this was a positive show. I thought this was a positive episode. I'm enjoying the show. So quick recap, because I don't want to get too far into this without Colin here. Give you my opinion of this. I have said this in the past. I really feel like the pacing of the show struggles with this television show format. The pulls are strong. Like, yeah, the end of every episode really has a hook that gets you ready for the next one. But I still feel like there's a lot of wasted time and energy in the show. I kind of made a big deal about it during the episode. But in that scene where Saul's ship departs and the Jedi rescue ship shows up, I verbally said out loud, what? Come on, we're doing this? It had to be that close. There are some weaknesses, maybe not in the writing, but maybe the way the show is paced and put together and edited. I still think this could be a really great Star Wars story. And that's what I was excited for. Colin and I talked about during it that I'm wearing the Jedi robes tonight because I think the Jedi are getting a lot of hate, and rightfully so. I think this level of High Republic Jedi is interesting to watch and kind of see that, not level of naivety, but they're not necessarily corrupt, but they are this governing force of this force where maybe we're seeing perspectives of other people want to have access to the force and not follow a mandate or a teaching. So I'm enjoying that the Jedi are seen in a negative way. Kind of sets up for the council we see in Phantom Menace. Colin's joining us. But I leaned over to him and I said, man, wouldn't it be great if Star Wars or Disney made a new Republic or a new Jedi Order series, or I was a movie? Wouldn't that just be amazing? And we could see the corrupt Jedi from the High Republic to the Phantom Menace and the fall and Order 66, and a real cool redemption on the Jedi. And we are, but it's going to be with Rey and not Luke.
Welcome. Yeah, hello. I hope Ryan kept everybody entertained. We do have Manic here that said, you deserve more views. You're great. Appreciate
well,
that.
Thank you. That's very kind.
That's awesome, kind words that I actually really appreciate. That's super great.
That's fantastic.
We don't get too many comments, so when we do, we love to read them. And
well, I've just been saying that I'm going to be asking some questions.
Okay.
I want to get engaged. The big thing I stressed was why the hate? Like, why is this show getting
so much hate?
Right? Like, it's unnatural. Okay, so we're gonna play a quick game. Colin, what do you think the IMDb score was for Book of Boba Fett? And viewers, type in your answers. I'll give you a few seconds here. And so, as you're thinking about that, we can say that like maybe the Book of Boba Fett was one of the weaker TV series.
Yes, definitely.
Maybe it took like a beloved character or something that we loved and like dumbed it down and like.
So I'm gonna go a little off track real quick though. For me, right. Book of Boba Fett was, like you said, they took one of the fans' absolutely favorite characters and took away the coolness of him, because he was a really badass bounty hunter that went and got the job done no matter what, and he was feared across the galaxy. He was well known. Nobody messed with Boba. But then everybody messed with Boba in the show, and he kind of just let everybody mess with him. And then at the end of the show, we get this whole 8-episode character arc of how he's stopping being this guy and becoming this guy, right? He's not as much of a bounty hunter. He's not as crazy as he used to be, and he wants to be this mayor, so-called, whatever. Then at the end of the show, he goes, actually, I don't want to be the mayor. I want to be Boba Fett. So for me, that's why that show is really not, it just missed the mark. Sorry, go ahead. As a
television show, so as a Star Wars show and a television show, what would you rate that series out of 10?
Out of 10, I would give it probably a 3 or 4.
Okay.
So let's say IMDb, because I know the fans are a little bit harsher than me. I'd say 2.
Okay, you're saying 3. A 2 out of 10?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to go through all of them. Okay, we're going to give you the answers.
Let me read out this comment quick. Reflection said, I liked the fight in episode 5, but I see why the show's getting a lot of hate.
So, okay,
the fights were amazing, but I feel like the story is... He says, we got another comment. It's a rough watch. The story is just not there. It's a good idea, though. See, I feel like the story is there, though.
So what I was saying, and I was touching on it briefly, I think it's a good story, but it's so stretched out, and I'm not sure if it's the editing for a TV show or the pacing. Something's wrong. But, like, the scenes are good, but, like, we're all over the place. It's not kind of like a nice, thorough story. And I think it's because it's a television show. It's like we have to fill 30 minutes every week.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they're gonna wrap it up though. Like, you know,
I'm not saying that they won't, but like, okay, let's look at this episode. Every scene with Basil, the sniffer, was useless because we talk about it, and we're talking about it now. That did Master Soul not know that was May the whole time?
Well, yeah, he definitely didn't.
Right, so I kind of feel like he should have. Like
he definitely should.
The discovery didn't need to be this creature. And all the scenes of him and like the squirting liquid in May's face, like cut all that out. Mm-hmm. Like the whole, like the 2 ships passing when one shows up, like cut that out. Even really cool, we got to see a lightsaber whip or a light whip tonight. Yep. Didn't need it. She's having a conversation, like it could have been like Jedi police or like some sort of like forensic, like a detective thing where they're like really going over these bodies, being like, what happened?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, there's some questioning of Saul and some like disbelief, but like, instead, she starts talking, whips a beetle, and like it just took away from it.
So I get what you mean, like about but then again, you're right. It's a TV show, right? So all TV shows are going to have some filler to keep their season going, right? Like they get money on runtime, correct?
They want weekly views,
exactly. But I feel like this story has a lot of potential, and I feel like by the end. Yes, it's all over the place, but that's kind of the point. And at the end,
the payoff's going to be good.
Because we have had that multiple times already through the show. The payoff's been really good after a kind of all over the place episode, right?
Right. And again, so that's where that comes from. Like you get a disjointed episode with some good scenes. Like our viewer just said, really cool action scene, but like there was a lot of nonsense around it.
So Reflection said it feels messy. Rooster Tails said there's a lot of filler, and then Reflection said, do you think it could have been a film instead? Ryan's been saying this for a couple weeks now.
Like, you make it a really good, like, 2.5-hour movie. And so, what are we at right now? We're 8 episodes of...
Say 30 minutes average. Well, 35 minutes average.
Yeah, because I think...
With the credits, right? Take 7 minutes off for credits every episode.
I think you could trim it right down. I think you could spend more money on less. You don't need to make it 30 minutes every week. Yeah. You don't need to like have a really tight show, spend more money on the sets. Like I enjoyed Khmer and Osha on that planet. Like I told you, it like brought back memories of like Octu, but like, hey, it's like a cool planet and the scenery, and like it was like interesting and like cool.
Yeah,
we didn't need to run to Basil running through a spaceship and like.
I agree. There's some filler, but we also filler's not necessarily bad. Like as much as I agree, it could have been a film, and a film would have been probably better overall. I don't hate the extra Star Wars content. I really don't.
I think in this instance, it's taking away from it. I think like Basil is not a character that I care about. Like don't give me the Basil side story.
Nobody cares about Basil, but again, and we don't need Basil. But I feel
Basil got more time than Carrie-Anne Moss so far.
Yes, she did. Yeah, he did. So, but I feel like it's nitpicking.
Basil's had more time than Kelnaka.
Yeah.
Do you want the Basil action figure or the Kelnaka action figure?
Good point. All right.
Okay, so here, let's get back to this.
Wait, before we keep going, viewers, I want to hear your answers as well. So, IMDb score for Boba Fett, what do you think it is? Don't look it up.
Yes, so we're going to go through one show and 2 movies. Okay. What fans seem to like hate the most. So, you said for Book of Boba Fett, you think it's a 2 out of 10. You give me like a point. Okay, so give me like 2 point.
Say 2.5. We're going in the middle. Okay. 2.5.
So, Colin says 2.5. Rise of Skywalker.
0? No, let's be realistic. I would say probably a 4.5.
Okay, all right, okay. Now, Last Jedi compared to...
Oof. Yeah, that's got to be like a 2.5 again.
So you think Last Jedi is on par with Book of Boba Fett, right?
I think it's worse. That's what you're saying. So I think it's worse.
So, okay, again, we're going to ask you what your thoughts are on Book of Boba Fett.
Yep.
Rise of Skywalker and Last Jedi. So, Colin has said Book of Boba Fett 2.5, Rise 4.5, and Last Jedi 2.5.
Yeah.
You ready for the numbers?
Probably not. Let me read out Rooster Tail's chat. I think Disney just really wants to push decent shows instead of good movies. I think so too, and I think it's for financial purposes, obviously. But again, I don't hate the shows because we're just getting extra Star Wars content. Yes, there's filler. But take Kenobi, for example, right? Kenobi was kind of a crappy show. But what we got in episode 5 with Reva and Vader was absolutely phenomenal, and I don't think anyone can say it wasn't.
Would it not have been a better movie if it was just that and then the Vader fight?
But if you want, you can go watch the 8 episodes or 6 episodes or whatever. If not, you can do what I do.
I did not need to see Obi-Wan Kenobi cutting whale blubber in the desert.
No, nobody does, but if they want to, they can go watch it, right? That's the option. And that's what is not a bad thing about the shows. I think we're getting more Star Wars content.
But I'm in agreement with Rusty that I think, yes, you can make a good show, but you can make something even better. I keep going back to this because they're owned by the same company. Marvel movies. Yeah. The Marvel TV series have been super forgettable.
Yeah.
But the Marvel movies had a magic to them back, like the Avengers, like Phase 2 and stuff. Like, you were excited to go to the theaters. Like, it was like, okay, hey, man,
and I totally agree that we should be getting some movies at least. I've been saying that for a few weeks now as well. But again, I don't hate the shows, and I think the shows are good for people that just want some Star Wars content. But make movies, yes, I don't disagree. Make movies.
We've got some movies coming out.
Have the theater experience because that's what's built Star Wars, right? Like, look at the prequel theater parties and stuff, right?
I think that's a great point that you make. Like, I'm enjoying this, but I think, is there an air of like, because we're watching it together and like you and me are like talking during the 100%. Episode and like, you know what I mean?
100%.
I think that adds
I'm enjoying it here, hanging out with you, way more than I would be at home watching it alone.
Okay, so that's fair. So I guess I have a biased view of the episode. Okay, so here we are.
Yeah.
So
we've got no answers.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. So, Colin, your Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett actually has an IMDb rating of 7.2.
That's insane.
Okay. You voted Rise of Skywalker 4.5. How about 6.4?
Oh my god.
And Last Jedi, which arguably has an IMDb rating of 6.9. So
higher than.
So where does Acolyte get 3.4 right now?
Whoa.
3.4 is like someone's home movie.
Whoa.
That they like tried releasing, okay? Like
okay, let me ask you this. How can you rate a show before it's done?
You can rate it episode by episode.
But you can't. Because the story's not done.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Crap without what we're going to get in 7 or 8. Like, episode 3 is super boring without the... Like, think about how much better episode 3 Destiny is going to be once we get to know what actually happened and we can fill in those blanks.
So, I think it depends on the show. Like, Star Wars Visions is a, like, anthology. Like, it doesn't matter episode to episode. Yeah. Okay, each is... I agree that you're right. You can't... rate really a TV show. You can have like a favorite episode when you watch a series. You think back, like, oh man, that was the best episode. Yeah. But you don't really like, oh, there were some highs and lows, but like it tells a whole story.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's giving it room to breathe. People are treating it like it's the worst thing ever. And like, I was upset when that ship left and the other one showed up. Like, I said that I was audibly like, oh, that was stupid.
Yeah.
But it's not like it ruins everything.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask. I was going to say, like, so how bad does that make it for you? Because, like, to me, I'm like, yes, that stuff kind of takes you out of the story a little bit. Like, just a little bit.
For sure.
But not enough for me to be like, well, this show's crap. I'm not watching it. Right? Like, that's where I'm like, man, where's this hate coming from? Because I feel like we need to give it some, like you said earlier, some room to breathe.
It's wizards in space with laser guns. We've lost all sense of credibility the first time Obi-Wan made a woo sound in the desert and like there's droids. Like, shut your mind off and watch a TV show.
Yep. So we've got Rooster Tails. I'm glad they explained cortosis in this episode, and Normie wouldn't know what that is.
Yes, good point.
I totally 110% agree with that.
We talked about that, and we had a point that like it was great for fans to be like,
dude, I saw this video online. So I'm not a big like commenter on those videos that like want you to comment on them, you know what I mean? But it was this dude, and he was like what shuts off the lights? Like you can't do that. This dude's just blocking. He's like, the Acolyte's the worst show ever made. And like I was like, oh man, like I was like, you just don't know. Like he made this whole video, like, and that's what I mean, like by people that want to comment, like, was it clickbait? Was he trying to get me? Like, did he get me, or did he seriously not know?
And that's I saw one just like that. It was a meme where it was the gif of him headbutting the lightsaber to turn it off, and they're like Disney writers or something.
Yeah.
Like, it was hate. I was like, that's really cool.
It's so cool.
He has a thing that turns off lightsabers, and he headbutted us.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Man, I'm loving Chimera. I'm loving the Sith that he is. I'm loving if he's a Sith.
So we had this discussion. Is he a Sith?
I think he's a Sith. I think he should be a Sith. But then
he talks about having two.
Yep.
That's a Sith thing, right?
Yep.
But he also...
was it the Sith thing, or was it the witch thing?
Right? Because you said that.
And, dude, the way he said it, that's at first what I thought. It was the power of two. Power of many.
Power of two, like that. Power of many.
Yeah. Power of many.
So, like, maybe that is perceived as something that's within the force or the thread that all things feel. But different, how do you say it? Like, sects? See them, like, sections, or, like, see them differently. Like, the Jedi, the two is, like, master and apprentice.
Yeah.
But, like, there's many of them. And, like, maybe with the Sith, it's like, okay, it is the power of two, but, like, you know, we see in Last Jedi that people, or Rise of Skywalker, that people seem to love better than this. Like, all the Sith, and, like, there's many of them. You know, all the Sith live within me. So, like, maybe it's different interpretations of, like, a prophecy, you know, from different faiths.
Reflection said, ever since the trailer of The Acolyte came out, it's been shit on by everyone so hard. That's what I mean. I feel like, since the trailer, like, no one's giving it a chance, right? Like, he hit the nail right on the head. No one's even giving it a chance before they're so ready to be mad at it. And I don't understand, like,
was it a
is
time
that just because we're so toxic as a fan base? Because
are we the problem?
We are the problem.
Okay, so was something going on in the Star Wars world that, like, fans were just upset at this point and nothing would have...
I think...
Okay, how did people hate The Acolyte but love Tales of the Empire, that trailer, so much?
Mm-hmm. That kind of turned out to be kind of lackluster.
And that was all, like, nostalgia bait. Like, here's some characters you haven't seen. Like, well,
he said he was a Sith in the last episode. Yeah, but we've kind of bounced around the idea that he might be, like, misleading us.
Yes.
And, he doesn't exactly say he's a Sith. He said, you guys might call me Sith.
Call me Sith, yeah.
Which, trust me, dude, I would like to think that he's a Sith because
the way
he put the Jedi down like that is what I would expect to see out of a Sith that's been in hiding for almost 1,000 years. Like the power buildup versus the Jedi, which have been stagnant, right? Because the Jedi don't need to power build up. They're ruling. They're doing their thing. They've been ruling the galaxy for a while,
and we hear more about that. We hear about like the political side, like their senators and stuff. So we kind of hear like the Jedi like are starting to play their hand on more of like a peacekeeping scale and more of a political scale.
Exactly.
So we're starting to see that. I don't know if he's Sith though.
I was just going to say that reflection. I thought the prequels pissed people off a ton since then. And yeah, so I think you asked, is there something going on in the Star Wars where I think the sequels did some mad damage to the Star Wars community, and recovering from that is going to take a generation. Just like the...
Okay, so I thought about this. So we watched the prequels now and we love them, right?
Yeah. Oh, I've loved the prequels forever. But... The
Acolyte is the first series that when it's finished, I want to rewatch everything in one shot.
The Acolyte.
Yeah. I want to, after we get the last episode, you and I want to do a rewatch and like sit down and binge them all. Yeah. And I want to see if it hits differently.
Yeah.
We might not need to do it right away, but like I want to see if we treat it like a movie and just like skip the credits, skip the like, okay, did this?
I think it will. And I've done that with a lot of the Star Wars shows that have come out recently. I watch them all episode by episode every week that comes out. Mm-hmm. But like Kenobi, I've rewatched multiple times as a whole thing. And again, it's got its rough parts and it's got its things that aren't great, but it's still decent and it's an entertaining show to watch. Don't look at me like that.
They massacred my boy.
Yeah, they did. They did, but again, the fights that we got were good. The darkness we got in some of those episodes that I didn't think Disney was going to go down that route was good.
Did we see headless corpses in the episode today?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
At the top of that screen, I think you caught it.
I was like, rewind. Did you see that? Yeah, there was at least one. There should have been two, probably. But
I didn't. Okay, another thing, and again, it's just set up for the TV show. I didn't like how when they found all the bodies, all the Jedi were like on top of each other. Like there was 4 like around a tree, and it's like, oh come on, like. Yeah,
that I did see. Like you said, I didn't think they all died in between the trees, but they did. At least 3 of them, because the Keldor gets stabbed in the chest, and then he turns around. So the 2 come at him. Block shuts off lightsaber. Headbutt. Block shuts off lightsaber. They back up. He stabs the Keldor. No, he cuts the other one because the Keldor died first. Cuts the other one. Then they come back. He stabs the one, skewers the other. So they were all right there in the tree.
Okay, that's fair. I would have liked that whole. We said that rescue was weird. That like the rescue team. Okay, so they go. Bunch of Jedis are dead.
Yeah.
All casualties.
8 of them in total.
Let's send out the rescue team. Morg?
Yeah. And
great character, Morg.
5 Jedi go on the rescue team.
No, wasn't it? It was 4, wasn't it? It was Morg. There's a female Jedi, a male Jedi with long hair, and then...
Yeah, maybe it was 4.
That's not even enough to carry back the bodies that you heard that, like, we've had all these casualties, like...
Yeah, the sequel's messed up a few things. I bet there's going to be some good fan edits for the Acolyte. I've already seen some great ones, and I've been. That's the
leave it to the community. Like those are the real fans.
Yes, exactly. Well said.
And the fans who make 3D renditions of stuff that people think that I hate, but no, I enjoy the Battle of the Heroes.
If you haven't seen that, you need to go watch that and comment because Ryan loves that video so much.
Yes, I did enjoy that. I just maybe didn't.
Yep. Reflection. I was just gonna say that he said he's already seen some edits of the power of one scene. I've seen some edits of the fight already, and they've been pretty cool.
I think you're going to get some
edits of just Chimere.
You're going to get some talented filmmakers that are going to be able to cut this together, like to really tell a solid 2.5 hour story.
One thing I will say, as much as even I am enjoying this show, the fans have made some of the best Star Wars content with their edits. I've seen some edits of Obi-Wan, Anakin, Vader that have almost brought me to tears and stuff, dude.
But isn't that like the Obi-Wan has PTSD? But like, isn't that what fans do? Like, we
it's amazing though.
Look at someone like Topher Grace, a Hollywood big, and like he recut the prequels into like his own movies.
I haven't seen that.
So we should do that.
Check that out.
Fans, we should check. We'll do the I forget what it's called.
Okay, Rooster Tales. I want to hear from you. What's your favorite Star Wars project since Disney's taken over? And then same with you, Reflection. Anyone else who's in the chat, please comment. But you two in particular, I want to hear what you guys are. What's your style when it comes to the Star Wars? You guys are definitely talking about this being a better film. Obviously, I think you guys would prefer it as a film as well. But what is your favorite Star Wars project since Disney has taken over?
So, okay, so the other thing we're talking about, the main actor, Lee Jung-jae, I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm sorry. We're like, there's something about Master Saul. Yeah, okay? There's something off about him. And this actor is from Squid Game, where he plays a character, the main character, who is someone you are cheering for, but not necessarily like he's a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you're going to bring an actor like that, who's his mainstream audience, like this is what people have seen him in, you bring him over in a role that is similar to what he did to kind of, I don't know, like that's why you cast him. This is what you saw him as.
Correct.
So I kind of feel like, okay, the more we see of him now, the more I'm seeing of like this really deceitful person.
Mm-hmm.
So even that whole thing where he stuns May, and then she wakes up and he's just like sitting there like watching her. So now I'm starting to, because you guys had said it the other week. That, like, man, it was
like episode 3 where I was like, I don't know, bro. You're seeming a little weird.
And I thought at that point, like, okay, maybe it was like he's not very good in English. He learned it for this role. But then now it's like, so that's why I want to rewatch this in one sitting and be like, oh shit. Like,
since The Mandalorian, I think I said this last week, I'm going to double down on it. Since The Mandalorian, this has been the show I've been most excited for every week, which is absolutely crazy considering Kenobi, episode 5 ending. But like, dude, that 4th week was difficult. I was waiting and waiting and waiting for that 5th episode. And even this week, I was like, wow, I'm really excited to see what happens.
So you and I kind of had a pre-watch talk, and we thought this was going to be the weakest episode.
Yeah.
But no. So I'm thinking next week, because there's 2 remaining, so next week would be the penultimate episode. Are they? Maybe they're not going to slow down at all.
I don't think they are. So I think next week is Brendock. Next week's 7. I think it's Brendock. We're going back to Brendock.
And then, so are we getting the final episode is the resolution with Khmer's master, or whatever it is, and Khmer, and like a little bit of an epilogue, tidying it up?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Because they kind of played it up that, like,
it could be Saul who killed these Jedi. So, like, are they going to set it up that, like, there is no Sith, it was just a rogue Jedi? And, like, maybe Saul is evil, or he's done something bad, so, like, they just play it off on, like, yeah, he was.
I don't know how I'd feel about Saul being
not evil, but, like, no.
But I also, when we talked,
he's not a good person.
Week 2, I think it was, where we speculated on Khmer being the Sith. I was like, I don't like that. He seems too whatever. Now I'm like, oh, I love this man as this character.
How deceitful! Even the reveal when he does it, like when he's talking to May.
Yeah,
so good.
When he flips, hello. I was like, oh, that's so good. Like,
he's a really fun character, and like again, so when I see a 3.4 on IMDb, this is a story that we're 6 episodes in, and we have some fun characters.
Yep.
We've lost some fun characters that we obviously care for.
Which is amazing, as hard as it was. We don't do that too often, and it's nice to kind of get a change.
So there's attachment, there's connection to the show. Why is it so bad? Is it because that people expected it to be better? And like the disappointment? Is it that there's just hatred for it?
That's a good point.
You know, is it like when...
Rip Jackie, indeed.
Right?
Let me just... So they said Rooster Tail said The Mandalorian, that scene with Luke in Season 2, Chef's Kiss. Totally agree. Oh, that was awesome. Then he also said, or Andor.
Sorry, what?
I don't agree with that.
No, wait, sorry, what?
Or Andor.
Okay, sorry, is that Rooster Teeth?
That's Rooster Tales.
Rooster Tales, I'm so sorry. We will get him watching it Andor is peak Star Wars television. Okay, that's like the height of the bar.
Like better than you did rate it better than Clone Wars and everything, which I just think is absolutely crazy.
Andor, it was so good week to week. It was just a great story. Within that season, there was mini arcs. That was a good show. That one didn't need to be a movie. That was a good show. I enjoyed the multi faceted .
Anyways, Reflection said, yeah, same, probably The Mandalorian for me too.
Yep.
Mandalorian was amazing. Rooster Tail said season 1 was peak, I feel. Rip Jackie.
Yep.
And then
really
doubled down on the Andor being one of the best shows.
It is. It is.
Well,
good taste.
Like I told you a couple weeks ago, I no problem with Andor. Like I'm glad it came out and people do love it. I'd rather at least a bunch of people love it than not. It's just it wasn't my thing. It's too slow. It's not Star Warsy enough for me.
I think it's okay. See, to me, and I've talked about this. I'm enjoying Acolyte. Sometimes the shows feel cheap though. Like the setting of the ship is kind of nice.
A lot, yeah.
There's a few times where you're kind of verging on like this shot seems cheap. Like there's way too much CG. There's way like it's not composited properly. Like they're rushed. You know what I mean?
The only time I really felt that was when Osha was in Chimere's house. The rock that she was sitting on looked so clay. Like it just looked very like not.
Yes. You know all the stuff.
Yeah.
100%. That's what I mean. But if you gave a production crew more time, and if that was a big set that like you did multiple scenes in, as if it was a movie, that's, you know what I mean? That's why you get the time for that.
Chat, can you look up and see what the budget for this show was? Because I know it was high. And we've talked about budgets for shows before.
Budgets for high-end shows because you have so many episodes that like...
Well, you have 8 episodes, so you can break it down by minute. And what are they spending per minute?
But that's what I'm saying. So you're spending more to make a movie...
To make a show.
Sorry, to make a show.
180 million, Rooster Tails said.
My God.
Divide that by 8. 180 million divided by 8.
Someone help me here. But
2 point something million per episode, right?
What was the budget for... How would you break that down? You have to break it down by like you'd have to find out the entire duration of the show.
Yeah.
And then break it down by minute essentially versus the last 2 movies. Anyways, whatever it is, they're spending
22.5 million an episode, bro. That's almost $1 million a minute.
So
that's almost $1 million per minute. That's insane, dude. That's insane. So when they had Basil squirt the juice in May's...
Oh, it was a robot that...
Or whatever. Yeah. That was $1 million. That was $1 million. $1 million.
Can someone make a meme of her just getting shot in the face and being like $1 million shot?
That's the money shot.
Oh, yes, that's it.
That should have been the title. Oh, my. Whoa.
Just tighten it down. Nice. Okay, so, but here's the thing now. Now, here's where I'm going to flip this on us. The next Star Wars movie we're getting is a TV show that is now becoming a movie.
Yeah, that's weird.
Right?
That's weird. And one of their most successful TV shows.
And it's becoming a movie because it's a successful TV show. They're trying to...
Oh.
Do you see how the business is running? Like, the mouse knows what he's doing, or at least he thinks he does. But Disney. Yeah. The passion you can feel is gone out of some of these projects. When I'm watching this, it does feel like someone's written this really cool story and there's a really cool like narrative in there, but it's hidden amongst like this committee Star Wars. Like we have to have like a fun little droid that like we can sell toys of to kids and like give me a furry little animal that doesn't talk, that's a companion that like makes cute grunts and like dry hump someone.
It's like they're trying to make it the next Grogu, but that's definitely not the case.
Okay, I showed you something today and we discussed it just really quick. The lightsabers, the concept art for the lightsabers for this.
Those were so cool.
And the lightsabers we got Disney theme park toys when we had artist renditions of like cool Star Wars stuff.
Those are so cool. Stacy said, nice blanket behind you. I totally agree with you, Stacey. That's a pretty sweet blanket.
We'll flip it over for next viewing, but there's a whole other side. So thank you.
So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tune in next week for sure. But
thank you.
Last week was also a good episode. You guys should definitely check that one out. That one was a good episode on the Acolyte. That was after episode 5. We covered that. We were super excited about it.
We were still coming down the high from that fight.
Exactly. That was insane. So, what if I know we've seen the ratings? What would you rate this show, Ryan? Out of 10, what would you rate this show?
So, okay, if I'm going by committee,
we're not done yet, so it's hard to really rate it.
Okay, let's talk about this. Now. Game of Thrones. Great show. Yeah. Started fantastic. Yeah. Around the 6th season, started to get real weak. People forget that show. They've cleansed it from their minds because it ended so poorly.
Yeah.
So that could be the Acolyte. I could love it and praise it now, and like in 2 weeks be like, give me a sharp pencil. I'm going to poke that part of my brain out that remembers the Acolyte because it's painful. Or it could be like, wow, this was a really good story. This goes down in like the hallmarks of like a Revan Knights of the Old Republic story. Not saying that, but you know what I mean? Like on the equivalent, like that could be something cool.
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett was not I did not enjoy that show.
No.
It got a 7.2. There's production, there's effort.
Crazy.
The acting is good. Like this is, I don't know, like a 7.5 at least right now. Like,
yeah. So what would you rate Boba? So we have a comparison.
I think Boba is like a 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I think when you start giving stuff like 3.5 stars, like that's like incomplete projects or like things that have no effort. Like,
yeah, I guess.
I don't know. Like,
I guess 50%'s a fail, right?
Right? Do you know what I mean? Like, you get a 4.9 on IMDb, you got a terrible movie. You know what I mean? You get a 3.4, and like you have a bunch of scenes taped together. Like, I don't know. 3.4 seems so harsh.
It does. It's way too harsh.
That's way too many 1-star reviews. Like, that's not a critical, like, I enjoyed the show for these reasons, but I also...
So I said this earlier. Do you think it's kind of a bandwagon and that's why people aren't liking it? We've got a couple comments about the story being lackluster, but to me, this story has been really, really entertaining, and we don't know what the story is yet, right? We've kind of been guessing the whole time, and I said earlier, this is one reason why I kind of like this story. Initially, we thought the mystery was between May and Osha, correct? Then it went from May and Osha to, okay, who's this dark side guy?
Yeah.
Then it was, now what's Soul done?
What did the Jedi do?
What did the Jedi do? So yeah, it went to what did the Jedi do? And now it's what Soul done.
And but now it's what's going to happen. So, okay, so we talked about this. The episodes are, the first one is Lost and Found. Second one is Revenge and Justice. Third episode is Destiny. Fourth is Day. Fifth is Night. They all refer to, well, the first two refer to either Osha or May's situation.
I think it could be both.
So it's kind of this play. 3 is their shared destiny. It's one destiny between them. And then Day and Night, the difference between the light and the dark. I don't know. And then you have Teach and Krupp, so you're back to this May and Osha divide. And we discussed that. We had said this earlier. We think that they're going to reverse roles, that Osha will become the Acolyte. May will become...
Who do you guys think's being taught, and who do you think's being corrupted? Yes, because I kind of think it could be both on both sides. I think... How did I word it earlier? Because it was really good. It was like, could Osha have been brainwashed? That's an interesting theory.
So we discussed, that's a great theory. It's because the Jedi had been known to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Teach... May's going to be taught by Chimere and also be taught what happened to her. I think in a sense that's also her being corrupted, right, from a certain point of view. I think May is going to be taught what happened on Brendock and, again, from a certain point of view, be corrupted by the Jedi like her sister was. And then I think, again, like how both of those could play on both characters, I think all the other episodes do kind of as well. And I'm very excited to see what the last 2 episodes are going to be and what the resolve is going to be. And hopefully it'll break down and give us more answers on what...
Oh, we're going to get some answers. It's just whether or not we...
Names of all the episodes mean, right? Like, is Osha really the bad sister? Is May the good sister? Are they even sisters? I saw a theory online. Maybe May died when they were kids, and Osha is force projecting May. Because when they were kids, they were not identical twins. And that could be a production thing.
I think that could be a production thing.
It could be a production thing.
If you look at those two girls, they're twins. Like, they're... Not all twins are... Like,
they're twins, but they're not identical.
They're not clones.
They're not identical.
Yeah, but you can have identical twins that have, like, one has a freckle and one doesn't. Like, or one has a...
But this was the theory I saw online, was that they're...
Boo theory. No,
they're not they're twins. They're not identical twins, and when the fire or whatever happened, May died, and Osha's force projecting May, and that's why they're identical now, which, again, is just a theory.
So is that going to go back to then May... So Osha's been doing all the killings, and then she projects May when...
She could be brainwashed.
The Jedi around? I think... So we didn't hit it tonight, but Kamir was saying that, like, why did you leave? That you were pushed away. So yeah, maybe the Jedi did realize that Osha has a darkness. I really don't know.
Rooster Tails just made a good point. So we got a couple comments here we're going to go through. Could Osha have been brainwashed? Yes, I definitely think that's part of it.
Yep.
John McGarvey said he's watching Clone Wars for the first time tonight. That's awesome. You're going to love it. And then May did kill a couple Jedi, so maybe not the best person. That is an interesting theory, because that's an interesting thing to say, though, because if she does go back to the Jedi Council, what's going to happen to her?
Oh, I don't think she's going back to the Council. I think the fight is going to end up being that, like... Is the fight going to be Osha versus Saul and May versus Kamir? Because May feels like she was used by... And Osha feels like she was used by Saul. So the sisters are fighting together against these two people that aren't necessarily fighting together either, but they're like...
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like this big, real, convoluted mess.
It's interesting. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Does this not make for a good show?
Yeah.
The fact that we're having a discussion, like, I'm excited for next week.
Yeah. What about, like, what happened with Soul? Why'd he leave, too, when the Jedi showed up? Like, what's he doing? Why is he being extra sketchy right now?
Okay, so what was the line he said? We have to go find your master, we have to go see your master, like...
Something. I'm going to have to rewatch this right when I get home.
So...
I feel like there's a lot, as much as nothing happened in this episode, a lot happened in this episode.
So, May had said that Saul was going to come find her because he's strong in the Force. Remember, she said that at the beginning of the episode or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
So is it that, like, he actually knows and he's going to go to the planet, and, like, so that the next episode is on that little water planet, you know, that they're on right now, and it just...
See, I find that weird, though, because... Why, if he wanted Osha that bad, why wouldn't he go look for her on Kofar before they left? Oh, yeah, because he didn't know. He thought he had Osha.
Yeah, okay, so that was the other thing, too. I really hope that they say that he knew that was May and not Osha. God, I think so confused saying these names. Because, like, he seems really inept at this point. Like, either he's a really bad Jedi, just, like, a really daft person.
There's going to be a cover-up. I'm not sure how, but there's going to be. They have been talking about politics a lot.
Yep.
And Rogue Jedi will look bad.
I think it's 100% right.
Yep.
So it's even the whole thing where people were complaining that Ki-Adi-Mundi was like, oh, there's been no Sith or whatever. It's like, the Jedi want to look powerful. They want to look like they're in full control of everything.
Yep.
There's no bad guys around. There's no bad Jedi. All that's a lie. It's fake space news. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just a farce.
Yeah. I do.
Like, they're putting on a show to be like, yeah, we're good. We've got it. We're in control. They're not.
Propaganda. Yeah, I do wonder how they're gonna wrap it up in a way where the Jedi don't know about Chimere or whoever else we see using the dark side at the end. Because I feel like now that Venestra's in Like, so does nobody else at the council know where anybody's gone? Is it a giant secret mission?
Yeah, because it obviously that was the thing where Morg is like, we don't know where they are, and she's like, I sent them.
Yes.
So no one else knew. I like that theory. I do. We talked about this, that this could be like a Knights of Ren thing, because I like that the idea that this show is giving us different perspectives of Force and Force users, and I feel like it would fit in that, like, okay, we have the Jedi as a faction, we have like the Witches Coven, and like we have another group called like the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
And like they're not Sith. You would call them Sith. And that's what people would call Kylo Ren when they saw him. Like, your kind would call us Sith, but we're not. We're different. We want things. We don't need absolute power and control. We want, you know what I mean? We have different motivations. We still understand the Force. We still use it, but we're not light side, dark side, where these knights. So I could see him being this other kind of faction or group, and that wouldn't take away, like, that would add to the story. To me, that would be like, yeah, okay, we're seeing all these different groups using the Force, the thread, and I think there's something out there where like a lot of different factions have called the Force different things. Like the Chiss call it the Sight, don't they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like
the Force is different for every different
like you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. So if that's what this movie is about, and it's the Acolyte is a play on not just like a Sith Acolyte, but like an anything Acolyte. Like it's a Witch Coven Acolyte, a Jedi Acolyte. Like it's just someone who is following this religion, or you know what I mean?
Do you think Chimere helped bring Osha and May into the world? Do you think Plagueis is around?
Well, he is. Well, we know one of them is, right?
What, Tenebris or Plagueis?
Yes. And what's the whole Venomous or People think that this guy, Chimere, is Darth Venomous?
Tenebris?
Venomous. There's something running around online where they're using that Venom because he's really good with all the potions and healings and stuff.
Oh. Yeah. I thought that was Tenebris.
There is. There's a Venomous, a Tenebris, a Plagueis, and a Sidious. They're all named after like a plague.
Oh, okay.
Sidious. Like.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I just want to stop real quick and say the engagement tonight has been phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you.
And this is super cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys joining us.
This has been so cool.
We tried doing a live screening of episode 1, and
yeah,
that was really fun. It's hard because like we're talking during the movie and our thoughts are while we're watching stuff. But Disney hates us, and the mouse heard the background music and took it down. So I feel like these live post episodes are better because everyone's kind of watched it and we're all like either really heated or like.
This is also more fun for us, I think, too, because we get to engage with you guys, which has been something that we've enjoyed doing since the beginning. Is going through the comments, we're going to the conventions, talking to fans. This is Duel of the Fans, so we're here to debate and chat and give our opinion. And
you guys are the fans too.
Yeah,
it's not just us.
It's not just us. So we want to hear it. We've had some amazing conversations with some amazing people tonight. Let's keep it up. Yeah. Hopefully, everyone that is here this week will be here next week as well.
Yeah,
so same time
next week.
Yep. And if this pops off for the rest of this Acolyte thing, we might do this for the shows going forward too. Yeah, so
absolutely, would love to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do a watch of Andor. I know you guys have already seen it, but we can get Colin's live reaction.
Listen,
and me slowly losing my sanity trying to convince
video gets 1,000 views, we will do a live watch of Andor.
All right.
You hear that, everybody? 1,000 views.
I think, and like I know it's a crapshoot here, but if it hits 10,000 views, it's a live viewing of Andor while you wear your Darth Vader costume.
Just sweating away.
Just sweating away. And
I can sign up for that. 10,000 views and 1,000 likes.
All right, that's fine.
There we go. Let's make it happen.
Easy enough.
Rooster Tails, I'm counting on you to share it to your buddies. You were the one who really liked Andor, so.
Right? Okay, so let's kind of tidy up here. So we have 2 episodes to go.
Yep.
Do you have a speculation on the title for next episode? Okay, it's shot in the dark. Is it going to be a 2-name thing? Is it going to be like...
Destiny would be...
Destiny was episode 3.
Yeah, so what's the culminating of Destiny? What would be...
Like what?
Like, you know what I mean?
Ooh, like some sort of resolution to everything, right? Like, ooh. Okay, we're gonna go with episode 8 being called Revolutions, and episode 7 Revolutions and Reloaded and Revolutions. I was trying to come up with
that's good.
The Matrix names. I was joking, but I think the next one's gonna be a 2-parter too, because you're gonna see more of I think the next one will be a single title.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
And then the last one will be a duel.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think one of them should be like the Acolyte.
I was thinking about that, but then you can't. Can you have a show that's like the Acolyte episode, the Acolyte?
I don't think so, but
I think there's going to be an episode called like Master and Apprentice, like Master/Apprentice.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. That could be the last one.
You know what I mean?
That could be the last one. What do you guys think the speculations for the last couple episodes will be?
And you're a Halo guy. How did you not come with Truth and Reconciliation?
I'm not a Halo guy.
Okay, well. Like, Truth and Reconciliation would be a good one, right?
I'm a Call of Duty guy.
No.
Yeah.
We'll do a
1v1 on Nuketown.
Yeah, Duel of the Fans.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I know our title was a little bit catchy tonight.
The hate is unjust.
It is absolutely unjust. It's a fun show.
Come on, Star Wars fans, bring the positivity.
Right? Just enjoy.
We need some more positive vibes in the community.
Be happy about it, right?
All right. Next week, same time.
Yeah.
Hit that subscribe button.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Really,
this was awesome.
It's such a fun time interacting with fans. So
I think Osha will die and May will take her place. Ooh. Interesting.
Hey,
if you're not watching this now and you're watching this after, leave your comments. We're going to go through them. We'll cover them next week in the live stream after the episode. I think this has been a lot of fun.
It's been fun. So I'm Ryan.
Let's keep it up. I'm Colin.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Hit subscribe and we'll see you next time.